VLSos here. This is a video lesson on unit circle angles. The unit circle is a profound mathematical conceptual tool. The unit circle literally is a circle whose radius is 1 unit and whose center is at the origin. So a unit circle has a center at coordinates 0, 0 and a radius of 1. I'm going to draw a large unit circle. I'm going to be guided by making some tick marks so that when my free hand traces a circle, I'm guided by those tick marks. Centered at the origin, and I'll provide an example of a radius and label that radius 1 unit, a unit circle. Unit circle is centered at the origin, so it's represented in all 3 quadrants. Quadrants 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we have each position of a radius can be thought of as the side of an angle that starts as a rotation from the positive x-axis over to the radius. And when we think of a radius to the circle as an angle with those 2 sides, one being the radius and the other being the positive x-axis, that's what we call an angle of rotation or a standard angle. And a common symbol or variable to use to represent an angle is theta. So the Greek letter theta is representing this angle of rotation in the 2nd quadrant. Starts here, rotates by a certain measure to here. An angle will intersect the circle at a point on the circle that has algebraic coordinates x, y. And in the future, we'll study the relationship between the angle of rotation and the coordinates x, y. An angle of rotation, or what we call a standard angle, has one side as the positive x-axis. Rotation can be positive or negative. We can rotate in the positive or negative direction. The angle that was shown here, if I show the arrow suggesting that this side was rotated around in this direction to become the radius or open up that angle, shows a positive rotation. This is the positive direction for a rotation. It's counterclockwise. Clockwise rotation, like the hands of a mechanical clock, rotate in the negative direction. Negative rotation is clockwise rotation. There are many common angle measures. What we call as a common angle is simply a measure of an angle that comes up in architecture and geometry and science more common than others, mostly because we as human beings like to work with angles that are portions or fractions of a full circle or half a circle. The first common angle is quite simply 0 degrees, where that corresponds to 0 radians, no angle opening at all, or the beginning position of an angle. A common angle of 45 degrees is very useful and common in building and architecture. Perfectly oblique slope of 1. 45-degree angle has a pi over 4 radian equivalent. 90 degrees is a multiple of the common angle of 45. 90 degrees is probably the most common angle that we use as human beings, the perpendicular. 90 degrees has a radian equivalent of pi over 2. Any multiple of 45 degrees is considered to be a common angle. So in our list of common angles, we'll put all multiples of 45 degrees or pi over 4 radians. 90 degrees is a multiple of 45. Another common angle is 30 degrees. We work with 30-degree angles quite frequently. Have a radian equivalent of pi over 6, 1/6 of a half circle. 60 degrees, which is a multiple of 30, is also a common angle. 60 degrees is pi over 3 as a radian equivalent. Any multiple of 30 degrees is a common angle. We'll list all the other common angles as multiple of 30 degrees, or pi over 6. The last couple of common angles are less common than the others, but we work with angle measures of 15 degrees very often. The radian equivalent of 15 degrees is pi over 12. And multiples of 15 degrees or pi over 12 radians. Though 15 degrees and multiples of 15 are less common. However, multiples of 15 degrees include 30 degrees and 45 and 60. 75 degrees is a multiple of 15. It's useful, but not as common as the angles of 90, 30, and 60 that will come up in architecture and science in our mathematics.